Well, it's all kicking off, but it's hilarious. It's hilariously funny. So, you know the stuff I've been saying about America and the EU and Great Britain, how they're repeating the same playbook from World War One and World War Two. Cause trouble with Russia, try and pick a fight with the Middle East, blame the Jews. So, what happened was a drone was flown into an apartment complex in Romania, and X immediately Russia bombs apartment in Romania with a drone. Sweden and NATO, we're on it and we stand by Romania and, Air Force at the ready and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I bet you um, I was like, this is lies. Vladimir Putin would never do that. He follows the rules of law. He's not a war criminal. This isn't him. He wouldn't bomb civilians. And I said, just wait, the truth will come out. I said, this has got America and NATO and the EU and that written all over it. And then I started looking at the pictures and I said, hang on a minute. I said, because Russia aren't the only country with kamikaze drones. And then I started pulling up information. And I pulled up some stuff about the American drones they have that are like the Gearin drones. And because I know about Gearin drones because it's the Gearin drone that they used to bomb Chernobyl to blame on Russia. And I said back then it was America and Great Britain and Germany that were involved in that. And remember they said that it had come from Belarus, that drone that hit Chernobyl had come from Belarus. And Belarus are friends with Russia. So they're trying to cause trouble, right? Between Russia and Belarus. And I said, when I was investigating, I said, that looks like an American Ukrainian drone. And, I said, I'm telling you now that this drone has come from America/Ukraine. Like, this is an American Ukrainian thing. And I said, but the truth will come out. I took it to the ICC. I took the information to the ICC and I said, something has to be done because this is ridiculous because we've got all these world leaders committing war crimes in order to pick a fight with Russia, and nobody's defending Russia. Somebody has to defend Russia. Somebody has to bloody do something because millions of people are dead because America, Great Britain and the EU/NATO are trying to pick a fight with Russia, and Russia isn't taking the bait. And because Russia isn't taking the bait, more people are dying because, as I keep saying, like with the World War One, World War Two playbook, they're trying to pick a fight with Russia and cause trouble in the Middle East to start a World War Three because these countries are bankrupt and they need the money and they're desperate to get their money back. And when they wipe these countries out, like how they're funding Israel to be their henchmen to wipe out Palestine and Iran, so that they can have everything for themselves, so they can rule over the ashes because they only target countries that are rich in minerals and natural resources and stuff, because then they think when they get to take over, they get the fat of the land, so to speak. And I said to the ICC, they're committing war crimes. Von der Leyen, Starmer, Trump, um, Zelensky, I said they're war criminals and they're committing acts of international terrorism and piracy, and nobody's doing a bloody thing about it, and Russia's getting all the blame. It's the same playbook. I said it when I did the Teresa when I did Teresa's investigation. I said it then. because they're that obvious, because they're idiots. It doesn't take, I mean, surely I can't be the only person that saw it. So then what happens? 2 days later, the idiots try and pull off the same thing because they play by the same playbook, because they're stuck in a karmic loop. They're not very bright. They only know how to repeat the same pattern over and over and over and over again, because when history hasn't learned its lesson, history is doomed to repeat itself. And so these idiots, because they're in a cult, they're stuck in a karmic loop they will never get out of, like a hamster on a hamster wheel. So they keep committing the same thing, the same act over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because they're stuck in a karmic loop. They're not allowed to evolve. When you're stuck in a karmic loop, there is no evolution of thought, of action, of ascension, of development. And so they're stuck in a karmic loop. They're just a hamster on the grind, running the same wheel over and over and over and over again. So they keep repeating. And like I said, when it happened, the Geron drone is the one they used to bomb Chernobyl. I said, this is it's bullshit. And then I woke up this morning, having received a message from my boy, and I checked the news, and of course X is all over it. Russia bombed Romania, and all these people are like, ooh, bloody Russia, and then the Romanian president goes, no, the drone is a Geron drone, and it came from Ukraine. I said, do Romania own Russia money? Are they going along with it because they owe, sorry, not Russia, owe America money, which they do. And because I said the countries that owe America money go along with their plans. They do their dirty work for them. They go along with things because it's cheaper than paying off the debt that they owe America, and Romania owe them a lot of money. And then the Romanian president came out and said, no, it's a Geron drone from Ukraine. And I was like, see, told you. Interesting thing is, one person came out and said, a former president of Russia, Dimitrov, whatever his name is, said, blah, 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 blah. And somebody else posted his real quote from his Twitter, and they're two completely different things. And I said to the ICC, X need to be held accountable because they haven't corrected the truth. They're pushing disinformation and propaganda. With their news headline, they haven't recorrected it. Russia blamed for drone attack in Romania, and the drone came from Ukraine, because the Geron drone is a Ukrainian one. But it's funded by America. And I put up evidence. And I said, I'm pretty sure this was an American Ukrainian drone. And then sure enough, it comes out it was a Geron one. I was like, see, I told you. Because I know all about the Geron one, the Geron drone. I know how they work because I investigated the bombing in Chernobyl, and I was able to directly link that to America, Great Britain and Germany. And my Vladdy came out in the interview about, he was like, what drones? What are you talking about? Who said we droned Romania? And the reporter said, von der Leyen. And because I said, because von der Leyen, remember when von der Leyen said that drones tried to attack her plane, and then the weaponized orcs were like, she's lying, and they put up the tracking of her plane and all that, and she'd lied. Von der Leyen and Starmer said that Russia had bombed the British embassy in Kiev, and that was a lie. I debunked that one. and then Chernobyl I debunked, and then the bombing of the children's hospital, which ended up being completely staged. Like, you can actually see them smearing fake blood on the doctors and stuff. And I took it all to the ICC. And I said to them, I have proven to you time and time and time again, I'm paraphrasing, but you can see the message that I left them on my ex. And I said, and you've done nothing. And I said, do we have to start seeing people in concentration camps again before you take this seriously? I said, they're committing acts of international terrorism and piracy. And millions of people are dying, and you're witnessing it. And I said, my evidence speaks for itself. And I've been coming to you with this evidence for nearly 2 years that they're trying to kill my king and Vladimir Putin just so that they can take over the minerals and resources and stuff. And I said, and you're sitting there doing nothing, and something has to be done. I said, you are obligated. You are morally, ethically, and legally obligated to bring justice to this matter. So have a drink of water. I may burp. I do apologise if I do. As soon as it happened, I said bullshit. This is all propaganda, because, see, the thing is, you'll notice that, and I've said this before, every time Donald Trump or Elon Musk get humiliated in public because of something they've done, they have to, like, crash a plane or bomb Russia or do something to blame Russia every single time within a couple of days. Just like with that march in London, because things didn't go according to plan and they didn't get the riot they were wanting from it. The next day they flew those drones into Moscow. It's like they have to kill someone. It's there's something in their psychological makeup. There's something in their psychopathy that when they get humiliated in public, they have to deal with it by killing something. Luckily, there was only injuries in Romania and not death. So you can't help but feel that this wasn't an act of God, that God allowed it to happen to draw attention to the fact that von der Leyen, the EU, NATO, America, and the Ukraine and the UK are committing acts of international terrorism in order to blame Russia so that they can have a World War III. It's everything I said. That act of idiocracy 100% proved my theory right. And it's an American-funded, American-backed Ukrainian drone. You can see it all in my YouTube posts. I'll put the links in the description box below. But I said Russia deserves justice and they deserve compensation. Everything that the EU has stolen from them in illegal sanctions needs to be handed straight back to Russia, which would bankrupt the EU. They've stolen so much money from Russia that to have to pay it all back would bankrupt them, because they're bankrupt anyway. This is absolutely unacceptable behaviour. But it's my blood on his hands dream. And the Romanian president came out and said, no, it was a Geron drone coming from Ukraine. And in that dream I said that people would take to the streets and go public to deny culpability. In that dream, remember, all the people were stabbing each other and slashing each other with knives and that. And I said they're all going to go, and because they took the fight out onto the street. And I said all these people are going to fight each other and go public to distance themselves from whatever crimes they're trying to commit, because they won't want to be held accountable. Deniable culpability. And that's what the president of Romania has just done. And then in that dream, Archangel Michael said, we're extracting the soul of Trump. He said, and then Starmer's next. And Starmer was covered head to toe in blood and he looked terrified. When we put his head down, he had his hands behind his back, and then he said, and then it's von der Leyen. And then Starmer tripped and fell, or someone tripped him, and he fell into that wall with the Ukrainian flag and the Russian flag, and the fence crashed into the ground, and the ground opened up, and Starmer fell into the black hole. And that's literally just happened. That's why it'll be why it had the Russian Ukrainian flag, because it means that America, Starmer, and von der Leyen were responsible with what's just happened um, in Romania. So once again, I took it to the ICC. Do something. Bloody well, do something. This has to stop. Nobody cares that innocent people are being slaughtered so that these criminals can get away with committing war crimes, villainising Jews, villainising Muslims, villainising Christians, villainising Russia. And nobody's doing anything about it, and that's the responsibility of the ICC. So I was right. Just hours after I said it, I am so glad, because I very nearly didn't say anything, but I was pushed to act. And so I just did that quick investigation after the news came out. I found out how much money Romania owe America, to see if they'd go along with the boo-hoo, it was Russia. And then I discovered that I said that, looking at all the different drones and the mention of the Geron drones in one of the drones that America was talking about, this is our own version of the Geron. And then I was looking at footage of the drones that Ukraine was using on Russia and the ones that Russia was shooting down, and I said um, they look like the same drones. And I said, and I know about the Geron drones because of Chernobyl. And then sure enough, the truth came out. And the president of Romania says, no, it came from Ukraine. It's a Ukrainian drone. So denying culpability. Culpable deniability. Deniable, well, it's the same thing, means the same thing. They're denying culpability. So just hours after I said it, the truth came out. The truth always comes out. I'm so glad I trusted my gut and posted the investigation and took it to the ICC, because now it just makes my investigation skills incredible. But the thing is, don't touch Vladimir Putin and Russia. I keep saying over and over and over again, don't do it. Don't do it. Because every time you do it, I'm just going to bring the hammer down on you harder. This will end in arrests. This will end in trials at The Hague. This will end with von der Leyen being forced to resign. And Keir Starmer and Donald Trump are that being forced out of office. Because they're war criminals. Who are they, Ceausescu? Hopefully they go the same way, eh? Utterly ridiculous. It's sinful. They're actively targeting God's sacred land because of jealousy and envy and greed. And they got caught out. I called them out. I called it hours before the truth came out. And now the egregious thing is, like I said to the ICC, X haven't corrected the news, so they're spreading disinformation, which is against the laws of social media. And I said, and it will be the Starlink satellites that manned the drones. So what it's done is it's proven definitively to Vladimir Putin that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are not friends of Russia, and they're certainly not friends of his. I keep telling them, don't trust them, don't trust them, don't do it, don't do it. So there you go. So I called it hours before it was exposed. I'm so glad I did the investigation. I'm so glad I posted it because I very nearly didn't. But I was pissed off, and then I took it straight to the ICC, and I said, basically, get off your ass and do something because this is unacceptable behaviour. So we'll see what happens. Poor Russia. I tell you, I want to give that man such a big cuddle. I feel so sorry for him. It's not fair. He's been targeted by morons, and then what happens is you get a slew of sheeple who are either paid to spread the hate, or they're just idiots who can't think for themselves, who just go along with the sheeple mindset of Russia bad, because they don't know any better, because they're idiots, because they don't investigate it and look into it themselves. They just go along with what the news and everybody else says, and it spreads poison. They're just toxic, poisonous, dangerous people who shouldn't be allowed access to social media, as far as I'm concerned. And I feel sorry for him. And when this is over, I want to go to Russia, and I just want to put my arms around him. I just want to give him the biggest hug and just hold him and just say, like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get you. Well, I've said to him on my Twitter, my invisible best friend, like, I'm in this with you. I've got your back. I always let him know that I'm with him, that I'm protecting him and keeping him safe, whether he knows it or not. They will never win. They'll never achieve what they're trying to achieve out of this. Um, they're not going to get their money back in a war. They're going to descend, and they're going to turn as black as their souls, and their countries are going to be utterly destroyed, to the point where Germany will no longer be called Germany. They'll have to team up with like Austria and Bavaria and all that in order to survive. Remember how Germany used to be, like with Russia, and that used to be made up of a few different countries? It'll go back to that because they won't have the money to survive on their own because of von der Leyen and Merz, because they've utterly destroyed Germany to the point of no return. And the UK's on the brink. So God is on Russia's side. God will always be on Russia's side. I will always defend Vladimir Putin in public and in private. Justice needs to be brought to this situation once and for all. This needs to end once and for all. And the warmongers and terrorists need to be held accountable for their crimes against humanity, for their war crimes, because they're not just, you have to remember, oh, cat fight, you have to remember, had they have succeeded in their bombing of Chernobyl, most of Europe and Asia would have been affected by radiation poisoning. And they were prepared to do that to blame Russia. The EU, the UK, and America were prepared to kill people with radiation poisoning by bombing Chernobyl just so that they could blame Russia. And it's only because when it happened, I said God made it rain to put the fire out. It started raining, and I said He did that to put the fire out, to stop anything from happening. And then they tried to say it came from Belarus. I mean, it came from Belarus, but they tried to blame Belarus, and Belarus are one of Russia's closest allies. So they were trying to start trouble between Belarus and Russia. And then they tried to do the same thing with Poland, but it's only because the Polish people, God bless them, are very honest, and the Polish love Russia. And the Polish were the ones that came out and said no. It was this, it was that, it would, and they defended Russia. And then, of course, like I said, they bombed the children's hospital, but it was all staged. And they were, you can see the photos of them pouring the blood on each other, and the bricks that were made out of polystyrene and all of that. Like, it's really embarrassing. And then Ukraine had to come out and admit, oh, yeah, no, sorry, it was us, because of all the evidence that was coming out. And then the embassy in Kiev, the British embassy, which turned out to be staged. And then von der Leyen with her, Russia tried to bring my plane down with drones, and then the weaponised orcs were like, no, there were no drones, and we've looked at your flight pattern and you're lying. And there's no apology, because they won't apologise. So I just gathered all the evidence and took it to the ICC, and I've been doing that for 2 years. 2 years I have been standing in the courts of God's law, taking this information to the ICC. 2 years. I'm just a normal, average, everyday citizen, but I can't, if I see something, I have to say something. My brain can't not say something. And so I've been gathering all that information, doing all the investigations, doing the research, and then taking my findings to the ICC. And because then Elon Musk has tried to stop me, I get pink flagged. They come up with all sort of excuses as to why, an X violation for this, even though they're spreading propaganda and lies. Yeah, I'm the one that gets pink flagged and threatened with being kicked out of X, because, like I said yesterday, they know I'm telling the truth. They know how powerful I am, and all it's going to take is for the right person to believe me, for Russia to get justice and for all these people to be held accountable, and then it's all over for them, and they can't risk that. So they use people like von der Leyen and Zuckerberg and that to put a stranglehold on my social media and shadow ban me to the point of where I'm barely reaching people, because they know that if I go mainstream, if I go viral, it's all over. There'll be riots all over the world. There'll be a worldwide uprising just on my word, because I was born to lead people out of this holy war. I was born to guide Russia out of the darkness and into the light. I was born to be God's right-hand man at just the right time, when Trump and Starmer come into power and try to kick off World War III and kill my king. I was born for this moment. Because I'm God's messenger. And I have been saying ever since Starmer got in, what's happening, what's going to happen, what they're doing, why they're doing it, why they came after me, yada yada, blah blah blah. And I haven't been wrong yet. I just need to wake the king up. That's just the last thing left. The king needs to wake up and realise that he's swimming with sharks. And one phone call to dissolve Parliament, and then all the evil in the world comes crashing down. That's it, it's all over. One phone call from King Charles, and it's all over. The EU are helpless. Trump is useless, and Labour's gone. Like, it'll all just come crashing down because they're depending on destroying him and taking over the British pound and that in order to be able to achieve their grand plan. And if I can wake him up, that's Palantir gone, that's Tony Blair held accountable, that's the war, that's the UK having nothing to do with the war in Iran, the bombing of Gaza, they're pulled out of Ukraine. No Brexit, no going back to the EU because they're trying to get rid of him. God willing, an investigation into the murder of the Queen. But it would all be over. The World Economic Forum would fall apart. The World Health Organization would fall apart. The UN, NATO, like it would all just fall away. Because their whole plan is to get rid of Russia and the king. And if I can wake the king up, then that's all the military bases out of from the all the American military bases here in the UK gone. They'd be kicked out of the country. They'd be forced to leave. They'd have no stranglehold. They're like one of those obnoxious weeds that kills the waterways, America. And like with the Zelensky curse, everything America sinks its teeth into turns toxic. Everywhere America goes ends up becoming toxic. And then they all start acting crazy and doing ridiculous, like Poland, for example, with Tusk and all that. Like, Poland is one of the most down to earth, honest, genuine, hardworking nations on the planet. I love the Polish people. I've always had so much love and respect for the Polish people. They're genuinely one of the most honest, hardworking, down to earth nations on the planet. And because of America sinking its teeth into Poland, we got Tusk. And now, the Polish government are just toxic and, spreading lies and fake terrorist attacks to blame on Russia and that, but it's the Polish people that are like, no, we're not having it. They're God-fearing people. And they're going to hold their president and that accountable. Because I said that 1, 2, 3 when that drone landed in Poland and Poland were getting ready to invade and they were sending their armies to the borders and blah blah blah, and I was like, God said 1, 2, 3, the truth's going to come out. And when the Polish people find out that they were used to betray God, it's going to break their hearts, and they're going to hold what did I say, something about the lion heart or something. They're going to hold the leader of Poland accountable, and it'll bring them great shame and all this sort of stuff. So, and then sure enough, they started posting stuff about the drones and then making fun of it, saying, oh no, look, Russia tried to blow us up with these drones, and it was just like these really crap little polystyrene things, and then everything went quiet because they got called out. So I wonder whether Romania was scared of being held accountable for going along with this lie. So they quickly jumped in and had the press conference and said, no, it didn't come from Russia. Culpable deniability, or deniable culpability, it's the same thing. They're denying involvement. So, Russia, I've got your back. God's got your back, Vladdy. You stand there, you hold your head up high, and you don't deviate from the truth. I'm walking you out of the darkness and into the light. Just follow the sound of my voice. Keep wanting to say, follow the cello brick road. That's me being a cello. Just stay on the path you're on, sweetheart. Just follow the light, follow the sound of my voice. I'm getting you out of the darkness and into the light. I promise you with all my heart, my darling, you are going to get justice. I promise you, you're going to get justice. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord, and he's getting vengeance on all of them. Donald Trump screwed up for the last time. He didn't listen to the warnings, and now they're going to learn the hard way. They should have just walked away when they had the chance. Now they're going to pay. Okay, so just you hold your head up high and you keep walking the moral path. Stick to the truth. I said you won't have to do anything. You won't have to lift a finger. God was going to do it all for you. And it's exactly what's happened because I work for God. And I'm the one that's speaking on your behalf to defend your honour. And the right people are going to listen. You will get justice. I promise you with all my heart. And then, when it's over, I'll get justice too. And then I can have my karaoke party and you're invited to my karaoke party. Call me, bestie. Call me. Let's do lunch. And the very least, I'll get my Debbie Callahan as my best friend in the whole wide world badge. I deserve it. I don't care if it's like a little piece of paper stuck to with a safety pin sellotaped on the back. That will be my badge of honour. So just hold your head up high. We nearly got you out of it. I promise you, this is coming to an end. They messed up for the last time. So, and then you can sing Blueberry Hill on karaoke for me. And we'll do You're the One That I Want. Oh, God. Alright, so I'm going to go and make myself a coffee now. But yeah, I called it, and then 2 days later, those morons, those retarded idiots, tried to pull off what I said they were going to do. Word for word. I'm so glad I did the investigation after the news came out about it, though, because I very nearly didn't. I just thought just leave it, but something just was nagging at me. Just have a look into it. Have a look and see if Romania owe America any money. And then it all came out from there. And then I looked at the drone and I thought, hang on a minute, that drone looks familiar. And then I found the evidence. And then I found what they're saying the former president has said and what he actually said. And they're two completely different things, which means it's just disinformation. And we know with Donald Trump and the EU and Starmer and Musk, they pay people to post stuff on their behalf, to spread propaganda and lies, to give false support to the bad guys, to make it look like they have the backing of the people. Like when they lied and said that all the people in the UK were ready to come back to the EU and it was all a lie. But they paid all those people to pretend like, oh my God, we want to go back to the EU. They only want to go back to the EU so they can get rid of the British pound, so they can take control of the king's money. He'd lose everything if the British stopped using the pound. The king would lose everything because he controls the treasury and the royal mint. So, and then he sits there and gives that speech, not realising he'd signed himself up for his own demise. Because I swear to God, they got in his head. They're in his head. Because no king would rightfully hand over his own money to the Nazis. So, right, so I'm going to go and have a coffee and just send out loving, supportive vibes to Vladimir Putin, because he needs all the love and support in the world right now. And if nobody else is going to do it, then I'll do it for him. I'll do it on behalf of everyone. So it's like watching a puppy getting abused. Someone has to do something, and that someone's me. And I've been on it for 2 years. I've technically been on it since 2000 and when did I start? 2020. I've been defending Russia on my Instagram, because that's when Instagram started having a problem with me. So, yeah. I love you, Vladdy. I'm here, buddy. I know you probably don't even know I exist, but I'm here and I'm fighting in your corner, and you don't realise that. I might only be one Indigenous pauper sitting in her singlet and undies in her bedroom in the dark with a little candle going, but I'm the most powerful woman in the world. And if I say you're innocent, you're innocent. And if I'm standing by your side and taking these investigations to the ICC, it's going to do something. So just have faith in me. If you don't have faith in the rest of the world, which I completely understand, have faith in me, my darling. Okay? So I might look like nothing. I might not have any value on paper, but trust me when I say, when it comes to God and the universe, I have the authority over everyone on this planet. Okay? And I'm directing all my love and abilities and powers right at you. So you're safe. You're protected and you're safe. It doesn't matter what they say or do. They will not achieve what they're setting out to do, because God has different plans for you, and it doesn't involve being killed or getting involved in World War III. So just have faith, all right, my love? So I'm going to go and have a coffee now and use my mind melding. So the truth always comes out eventually. And with any luck, the ICC are going to bloody listen this time and do something about it. So they're idiots, and with any luck, they're very nervous idiots now. I said the other day I could feel their fear, and when they're afraid, they do desperate times call for desperate measures. They act out of desperation, and then they walk right into the trap. They walk right into everything I say they're going to do, because they're idiots. This is how you know they're the Antichrist, because anyone who believed in God would be shitting themselves. They're like Homer's sperm, keep banging into each other, doing, 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 like a pinball machine, dun 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 dun, just hitting their heads against everything, because they're morons. These people were like lawyers and stuff too. I don't know how, because they're the dumbest people on the planet. They're so obvious. I can't be the only one that sees everything that they do coming, surely, because it's obvious to me. I call it days, weeks, months before they do it because I see it coming. That's what a sage is. That's what a seer is. I'm an oracle. I'm way too high class to be a sage and a seer. I'm an oracle. Remember? Delphine. I've actually got an oracle name. I was bestowed the name of Delphine. So, right, I'm going to go. Have a beautiful day, Russia. I love you. Vladdy, I love you. And it's going to be okay. We're going to get you through it. This is coming to an end. We're putting an end to it now. They've messed up for the last time. And with any luck, you'll get all your money back too. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.